A few months ago, I was considering making a video on Christian Cage and what he was doing in AEW. I was going to title it The Curious Case of Christian Cage and question what his role in the company was. I couldn't believe that a man of his talent was going to simply settle into a managerial and mentoring spot for a tag team. It was pretty evident that there was a storyline and a setup into an angle with Jungle Boy, who eliminated Christian in a battle royale for a chance at the AEW championship. The reason I was beginning to doubt this angle was simply due to the fact that it had been so long without a shred of a sniff at a turn. Don't get me wrong, there were certainly awkward looks between Luchasaurus and Christian, and you knew there was a little cloud hanging overhead, but even with a few massive title defenses in prior months, Jurassic Express were retaining, and Christian was successfully mentoring the AEW Tag Team Champions. The longer it took for Christian to turn heel, the less sense I thought the story may make, and the more effort they'd have to put into explaining why Christian had taken so long to turn on Jungle Boy. In reality, I believe Christian didn't turn sooner for two reasons. One, to give Jurassic Express a lengthy and meaningful title reign, and two, during the time that you could have run this Christian versus Jungle Boy feud, there were a lot of interesting programs going on. All in all, when Jurassic Express did eventually lose their tag team championships to the Young Bucks, there was nothing surer in the world than Christian turning heel. There was no reason for him to still be with Jurassic Express, who quietly put in a really solid tag team run. It was clearly time to progress this to the next stage, and with a handful of feuds being over and done with after Double or Nothing and Forbidden Door, and the lack of an undisputed AEW champion flagshipping the show, there is now enough room for this program, finally, to be put on air in a meaningful spot with ample time being given to it. And it happened. The trigger was finally pulled for this feud, and right now, there is nothing on AEW television that has my attention more than this feud. Each of the four pillars have spread their wings in the AEW singles roster at one point or another. MJF has had some of the company's best feuds to date and a shot at the world title. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara have both held the TNT title, albeit to different degrees of interest and entertainment. But Jungle Boy, despite a few good showings in some singles competition, has primarily been a tag team wrestler in his first few years at this company. That doesn't mean he hasn't developed during this time, and actually, all things considered with Jungle Boy and some of the deficiencies in his overall character and storytelling abilities, a few years away from the spotlight with the protection of a tag team partner and a veteran mentor over a year speaking on his behalf was not the worst idea in the world. There was really no need to rush Jungle Boy's development, and if AEW had done that, it could have ended up like Sammy Guevara. In many ways, the two are quite similar, incredibly talented in-ring wrestlers that had the crowd behind them, that lack some mic skills and some believability when it comes to portraying their characters. In my opinion, Sammy was taken out of the oven way too soon, and he was let loose on his TNT title run to a disastrous result in the end. The same thing could have happened to Jungle Boy, and plainly put, it wouldn't have been shocking because he wasn't ready for a push a year ago. He might still not be ready for the push. I'm sure he's been putting in the work to improve, and Christian is certainly setting him up beautifully as the babyface in this feud, but he will need to show major improvement when he returns to the screen after this hiatus. His main glaring deficiency has been his mic and promo skills. That's obvious enough, but there's one other thing I think this feud needs to do to elevate Jungle Boy to the next level, and it includes an entire overhaul and rebuilding of Jack Perry's persona. Christian Cage has been dropping major bombs in his promo so far about Jungle Boy. He's not shying away from the fact that he has a distaste for Jungle Boy and his family, except for his mum, I guess. And quickly but surely, this has become a very personal feud that goes past the Jungle Boy persona. Christian isn't just feuding with a member of Jurassic Express or a wrestler on the AEW roster. He is feuding and attacking Jack Perry the Man. I believe that this is the perfect opportunity to have Jack Perry shed the skin of the Jungle Boy character and transform into the next phase of his career. I'm not sure what exactly he should call himself, because part of the Jungle Boy character is quite gravitating and draws people in. Whether he goes by Jungle Jack Perry or just Jack Perry, I think this feud embodies the growth from a boy to a man better than any other feud he could go through. Eventually, he will have to drop the boy in Jungle Boy, and what better time than now? Christian is not wrong when he says that he has been a bit of a father figure and mentor to Jungle Boy. In many ways, that's what Jungle Boy has been so far in his career. a boy. He's always had a partner to back him up or a mentor to lead him through tough times, but that is no longer the case. With Luchasaurus joining Christian, it's made it even more apparent to me. This feud is not just Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage, it's way more than that. This is Jungle Boy's coronation into manhood, to fend for himself by himself, to defend the name and the honor of his family and his late father and himself, his name, the Perry name. To be fair, I'm not sure that Jungle Boy 100% needs to win this feud either. Losing to Christian man to man while putting your best foot forward wouldn't be the worst thing for Jack. It would still meet the overall goal of completing his transformation out of the Jungle Boy character and beginning his run as a singles competitor on the AEW roster. Christian is a guy who in AEW has done some tremendous things as a singles competitor, and truthfully, I think keeping him strong adds more value to the roster later down the line. That being said, a loss wouldn't hurt him too much either. The overall goal of the feud really should be to transition Jungle Boy as a character. I'd say it's one of the biggest drawbacks and could be one of the biggest factors holding him back from being a believable and interesting singles wrestler at the top of the card. Because while the Jungle Boy character is a very good starting point, I don't think Jack Perry can ever be world champion in his current form, and that should be his goal. Evolution is part of the game. Many of the greatest wrestlers of all time had to transition from one character to the next and find the right path to greatness. I think each of the 4 pillars will one day be world champion, whether it be 2, 5, or 10 years. Right now, only one of them is convincing enough to be the world champion in MJF, and one of them is well and truly on his way in Darby Allin. Sammy Guevara has been TNT champion, which is enough evidence to show he's well and truly years away from world championship material, but then there is the unknown of Jungle Boy. Who knows what he could dish up with a fresh character, a fresh take, and an evolved form. Is this feud setting up to drop the Jungle Boy and the Jungle persona and for Jack Perry to move into a more serious character and a serious role and maybe let that evolve for a couple of years and see where that takes him? I personally think that that's the way to go here. The dropping of the boy and the evolution of a man, I mean, that's just a story that gravitates to so many people. That for me is the next step in Jungle Boy's career. So what do you guys think? Is this just a feud or is this going to be more? Are we going to see a new Jungle Boy, a new Jack Perry? And if we do, what would you like to see from that character? Let me know in the comments below. You know I'm going to be there, so I'll see you down there. We'll have a chat. If you like the video, do hit the button. It helps out in the algorithm, helps the channel out. So if you want to support, please do so. I hope you did enjoy today's video. I'll see you in the next one very soon. Stay stunning.